COVID-19 pandemic has turned the education system into a new reality where students are compelled to attend online classes living in their homes. It is a new experience for them. In this context, I have conducted a, a phenomenological study on the female students of a public university in Bangladesh to understand their experience in attending online classes. The findings of the study has revealed many gender discriminatory issues which need to be addressed in post-pandemic education in Bangladesh as well as other South Asian countries. Thanks to the conveners for inviting me to present my video presentation here. I am Mahmud Hasan, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Public Administration at Shahjalal University of Science and Technology, Bangladesh. The title of my paper is Discrimination Against Female Students in Online Learning, Evidence from COVID-19 Pandemic in Bangladesh. You are seeing a picture which is representing the scenario of attending online classes from rural area in Bangladesh. This images has recently been published in a daily newspaper here. Main objectives of this study are to understand the nature, causes, and consequences of these discriminations on female university students. Phenomenological approach have been followed here, and both primary and secondary data have been used here, and 20 in-depth interviews and 6 focus group discussions have been conducted to collect data, and total respondents was 70 and 24 in-depth interviews and 54 FGDs. And judgmental sample technique have been used, and we have considered their respondents' living place, class participation, their subjects, semesters, and their economic status of their family. And study area is the Shahjalal University of Science and Technology, and Shahjalal University was the first among the public university that introduced online classes in Bangladesh. And thematic analysis have been used to analyze the data here. Now I would like to share some information regarding the tertiary education and COVID-19 in Bangladesh. Currently, 1,45,000 female students are enrolled in 43 public universities in Bangladesh, and female to male ratio is 0.72. And 39% of the female students live in university dormitories, and many stay outside renting houses or hostels. It is important to note that living on campus in urban setting gives an opportunity to the female students to lead a comparatively independent life than being in the family. An educational institution in Bangladesh closed in mid-March 2020 because of COVID-19 and starts virtual education after a few months later. It is very common problems in online learning is unavailability of device, poor internet network, economic division, etc. It is also very important to note that subconscious tradition, norms and culture, patriarchal, especially patriarchal culture in Bangladesh allows discrimination against women. Now I will share my study findings. I have used verbatim here as you can understand easily. Firstly, nature of the discriminations. Some of the respondents have experienced discrimination in device acquisitions. One of the master students shared with us his experience like this. 3 siblings in our family do not have cell phone to attend online classes. My father first bought a smart cell phone for my younger brother, though he needed it least. I think my need was less important them as I was a girl. Discrimination in class attending, poor network compelled students to attend classes from outside their houses, which was more difficult for a female students than a male. Pressurized stop studying. These kinds of pressure mostly come from the neighbors and relatives and vulnerable to harassment. These kinds of vulnerability have experienced those kinds of students who share others' device for attending online classes. Objection to dress. Most of the participants shared this kind of experience. They have faced objections from their family members and neighbors regarding their clothing. Adaptation to new realities. Pandemic has compelled students to stay home for a long time and readjustments with their families. According to them, it was more difficult for them than male students. Increasing financial dependency. Most of the respondents faced it. One of them stated that with the money I earned per month from tutoring to students, I could spend that money as I wanted. Now I have no income, depending on my family for everything. Even the money for purchasing pad during my ministerial period need to be taken from my father, which makes me feel bad. Another output is almost have no chance to be relieved. The study finds that there is little chance for a girl to go outside to be mentally relieved, which is not same for a male student. Almost every respondent shared that they have lost their self-dependency while they were living at home. Lost free movement, it has also said most of the students. Some of the respondents shared that their family members suspect them when they use smartphone for a long time. According to them, their family members don't understand their necessity. Putting pressure for marriage, it also comes from their neighbors and relatives. It is interesting that some of our participants have already got married during the pandemic. One of them shared us. I am now a second year student. I never thought of my marriage, but my family married me off during this pandemic without my consent. I am sure I would not have got married had I been on the campus. My brother is also studying. Nobody talks about the marriage of him. Sense of captive life. The participants shared that they are going through many kinds of restrictions, who is giving them a sense of captive life at their home. Some of the respondents shared that they don't participate online classes with video on because of fear of cyber harassment. And many of the female students shared that they can't concentrate on class or attend class regularly because they have to help their mother during the class. Now I am going to discuss the causes of discriminations. Males get more privilege than females in most of the Bangladeshi families, which is creating a negative impact on online education. Religious bindings. Many religions put restrictions on women's education, movement, and clothing. So it has a negative impact on online education. Insecurity of women. In many cases, women are not secure at outside. So it has an adverse effect on online education. Financial dependency on parents. When a girl becomes dependent on her parents financially, she has to follow their decision. So it has a negative impact on online education. Complying with the instruction of seniors. It is very typical norms in our society that junior will follow, especially the women will follow the instruction of seniors. So living in a society and attending online classes, it has a negative impact. Societal attitude towards women. In our society, in many cases, it doesn't take positively the women's education. So it has a negative impact. Socialization embedded in the culture. In the socialization process, a boy feels he is superior to women. So it has a negative impact. Negative attitude towards girls' higher education. Many peoples in families and societies perceive negative attitude towards girls' education. So it is contributing to discrimination here. If we analyze all these issues, we will see that it is very much related to the characteristics of a patriarchal society. So living in a patriarchal society, it is very hard for women to attend in online education. Now I will discuss the impacts of this discrimination. Lack of concentration in the classes. Most of the participants said that they cannot concentrate properly in their classes, decreasing class attendance. Uh, the issues I have discussed earlier hampers the respondents very much, and many students cannot attend their classes regularly. Poor performance in the exam. As they can attend properly in the classes and join regularly, so they believe it will hurt their performance in the final exam, hampering their cultural growth. In Bangladesh and South Asian countries, a university not only teaches a student in their classes only, it also gives he or she a huge opportunity to learn from its environment. So if a girl cannot attend class living on campus, she misses many things that are very much needed for her cultural and mental growth. So participating in classes living at home hampers a female student's cultural growth, declining self-confidence. As I have discussed earlier, in attending classes, living at home, she gets fewer opportunity to meet the other people, so it's affect their confidence. Negative impacts on their, as she is not learning properly, not getting confidence, so she believes it has a negative impact in her career, putting stress and mental. All the participants have said that they are frustrated living at their home, and many of them said that their home conditions are not ideal for attaining education. Adverse impact on women empowerment. All the issues I have discussed here are have negative impact on women empowerment, and it is squeezing their empowering process. So I think the findings of this study will not much differ from other South Asian countries, so that I will recommend to address this issue seriously, to formulate post-pandemic education guideline or policies for this region. Otherwise, a huge number of female students will be deprived from the benefit of online education. Thank you very much.